This is the Fujifilm FUJINON XF35mm 1.4 R lens. Do you need it in your kit? Now I've had this ever since I got my X Pro 1, and if I'm honest, it spent a year in between that time, mainly in the kit bag. And I'll tell you that that was a waste. But at the time I was shooting with the 18 and the 56 and I was happy. I'd pull out the 35 every now and then for something a little bit different. And by a little bit different, I mean a little bit normal. Because quite obviously the 35mm lens, it's more or less your nifty 50, your 50mm standard lens on a full frame. Because I love ultra wide, and I do enjoy a little bit of telephoto too, sometimes I find that you can get away from just the core, the essence of the images, not worrying about the focal length, but getting into the emotions. Now, this lens just lets you do that. It doesn't offer any crazy sort of view, but it just leaves it right down to you, to the nitty gritty, to get into the subject matter. So should you get it? Well, for the last year, I've been absolutely loving this lens. Great size, nice and small. There it is with the hood off. The lens is solidly built. It's all metal. It's actually very cheap to get hold of this. And I find that there's a bunch of Fujifilm FUJINON lenses that are at such a great price that you really can afford to have it on permanently or in your kit bag just in case. This is obviously fast, wide open, 1.4, and the images look great. They just work. There's no need to pixel peep. The images just look good. Focus wise, when we originally put this on the X Pro 1, well, people moaned, whinged and complained. But nowadays, with the newer bodies, especially something like the XT1 and even more so the XT2, X Pro 2, speed's not an issue. You're generally not going to be shooting sports with this lens anyway, but what you're really looking at is using it, for example, at an event like a wedding or a party, and because you're already using a small camera, superb images coming out of it, you know that you can sneak in and out of those crowds and get the shot just right without being too far, for example with a 56 or a 90, other fantastic lenses too, or too wide with the 18 and the 14. This is just right if you want that standard focal length. It's a 1.4 lens, which means that you can throw it wide open, use it in low light and not have any issues with that at all. I will put up some images, and I will say they're just regular images shot with this lens, nothing that's going to blow your mind. And I do have a little bit of a beef with some of the sample shots that are put up on forums specific to certain cameras, bodies and lenses. They're often really over-processed. So what I put in my YouTube videos are straight out the camera, just what the Fujifilm camera has done to it. And I don't go too crazy with that either. So obviously, when we look at these websites, we go, oh, well, he used that combo and he got that final image. But sometimes it's been through Photoshop so much, it could have come from any mid to top range camera, let's be honest. But some of you like to see sample shots, and it makes absolute sense to see what can be done with it. And for that reason, I keep my processing to the minimum. I prefer to get it right in camera. And if you haven't seen the video already, I do absolutely love the JPEGs coming out of this. It's something that I've started to use a lot more this year. Didn't bother with it for the first few years, just was too stuck in my ways with RAW, but what can you do? It's a great price, it looks good, more importantly the images are fantastic, the bokeh is pleasing, smooth, and you can really play about with the depth of field, use it in low light. Of course it looks good and it's solid. No brainer really. Let us know what you think about this lens, or if you think the F2 has other advantages over it other than the weather resistance. Let us know in the comments below. Subscribe. Thanks for watching. I wonder if anybody really cares what I think. I wonder if I'm still the only person that hasn't used the X-T2 before release date. I wonder if I'll ever let my X Pro 1 go. Fuji, what have you done to us? Oh, don't tell them I'm shooting this on a Canon. Because frankly, Fuji, why do you not answer when I send messages to customer service about recording video with the camera remote app and not having my lav mic picked up by it? It always switches back to the onboard camera source. You're so great at everything else, other aspects of customer service. If you don't know the answer, just say something at least, like working on it. Are you working on it? You work on everything else? Anyway, thanks Canon and SO Cameras for renting me this bit of gear. Don't worry Fuji, Canon won't take you crying for the photos. I'm definitely going now.